Sure. It was very hectic, kind of up in the air, felt like I didn't have direction, felt like I was doing wrong and didn't know that I was doing wrong. Kind of an adage in that direction of things that I needed to have done. But also someone kind of like a guiding light, someone I could look to and bounce questions off of, make sure I was still within the legal confines of the system, but also, progressing things as well, whether it be my life or the case, those kinds of things. So I was in the process of a separation, and my significant other, ex-wife now, she was pushing back quite a bit, and I didn't know what legal action or matters to take to try to get on with my life. And we had a child as well, and I was being told things that at the time I believed that were not truly the case. And hiring Jonathan and Breeden Law and their team, it gave me direction in that regard as far as, what I should be doing, kind of the vision that I had going forward futuristically as well. I started looking just in Johnston County. I was living actually in Wake County, but that really had no bearing on hiring there. And I pulled up a few different law firms, and quite honestly, it was, I looked at a few of the testimonials, but, quite honestly, it was just, kind of luck of the draw, but, it all worked out. But yeah, highly endorse, him and their team. So in talking with him, I've had other consultations in other arenas, and in talking with him, I could tell that he was, going to push as hard as he could to get things done. So we both had a vision and a goal, and he was going to do his best to help me accomplish that, as opposed to just kind of laying down and saying, hey, the decision is what it is. He did a great job of trying to fact find and use those facts to try to help, me get my goal out of what I was pursuing in this. So in essence, he was, he was a fighter in that regard, and that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody to fight for me and go to bat for me, and not just kind of lay down and take what you can get, or there's mediation, of course, and compromise where you meet in the middle, but at the same time, you got to put all the cards on the table, and I thought he did a good job with that. And he always gave me options, but never overpromised, which was phenomenal. And I like that too, because I've seen it go the other way, where things are overpromised and then you're disappointed. Expectations are way up here, and I had high expectations, but he kept those in check to the point of, hey, it could go this way too. Here's our options, and he would lay out options for me, and I really liked having that opportunity to kind of pick and choose, and knowing that, based on our conversations and the facts that had been gathered, he was going to proceed in that regard for my best interest. I think he did a phenomenal job, and that's what I needed. Quite honestly, I was dealing with someone who was making a ton of false accusations. I was hoping that, you go to court, you kind of work it out. Quite honestly, I've never been to court before, or gone through a trial in that regard. And, it sucks. You wish you could just, have mediation and kind of come to some agreement. But when you're dealing with unreasonable, irrational people that can't have a conversation or meet in the middle or compromise, and they're out to slit your neck, your best defense a lot of times is a good offense. And I hated that it had to get a little nasty, but, at the same time, it's just the nature of the beast in the business. I hate that it had to get to that point, but Jonathan was willing to go in either way. We could have worked it out in a more, and not that it was tenacious in that regard, in the courtroom, but just the battle itself, kind of long during the pandemic too. But yeah, he was willing to go to bat for me. I would definitely have to say the end result. It exceeded what expectations we had going into it. So I would definitely say the end result, but also the communication. Communication, he constantly kept me in the loop. So I would say those two things for sure. I would definitely recommend him in kind of my situation, like fathers, pursuing child custody, child support, attorney fees, anything in that regard, divorce or marriages falling through, mainly just because of the way he set the expectations out there, just giving the different options and having practice for as long as he has and seeing cases, because he always had relatable cases to what kind of was going on in a situation. It might not have been exact, but it was relatable in the regard to, I think this guy got this or this person got this. This is what I'm kind of advising you to do, which is, what you want, but at the end of the day, letting me make the decisions. But I would recommend him in any regard to any, single father or father pursuing child custody, child support, any of those arenas. I would say, man, he's going to fight for you. That's where I'd start it. But I think more or less, that's what I would tell him is, he'll go to bat for you. He'll let you know what's going on, and he's not afraid to speak up for you, which is, you kind of get in the legal whirlwind, and you're like, oh, do I need to like tame it down a little bit? And like, you kind of feel like you're under this watchful eye. And I think Jonathan kind of gives you that, I don't know how to really explain it, but almost like a transparent look into talking and carrying on in your normal life functions, with his protection kind of there. And that's how I felt. I remember there were a few instances where I'm like, man, I'm being just badgered and harassed right here. And he kind of put a stop to that, not in like a threatening way or tone, but just more so like, hey, buddy, like, this is my client. There's other ways to handle this. And it kind of was a nice backup to have there in that regard. But I would certainly say he'll fight for you and have your back. Yeah, I was going to say, just the firm in general was very responsive. I don't think that there was a time that I went more than a day without getting a return call. There were many times after 5 p.m. or a weekend where, I would talk to him or hear from him. And I know attorney's fees are what they are. You get what you pay for, and I think they're a phenomenal firm. Some of the pricing components just in law and legal matters in general, not specific to Breeden Law Firm, but just those in general are just kind of hard for the average person to come by in a long, drawn out pandemic, divorce, child custody, equitable distribution case, just kind of a larger case. But with that said, I got what I paid for, so in that regard, I got the end result that I wanted, in addition to, having that lifeline to not just him, but the firm, and making sure the people I spoke with at the firm relayed the message to him and got back to me.